Rain to snow, 31st of January 2019 to the 1st of February. This is a whole section video about an experience where we had moderate to heavy rain through most of the day, turned to heavy snow during the evening with a good covering. And this is the first time we've had such conditions since 1982, so it's worth making a note. And basically the temperature fell steadily through the day, and eventually just after 6 o'clock it struck to minus 0.6, and it turned to snow quite readily and stuck to everything and looked really beautiful. The rain front to the south was less cold air, and obviously to the north, the northern boundary, was the northeasterly winds which would spread in later during the evening. And as you can see from the charts here on Thursday, the low pressure began to slowly sink away to the south, and the colder air gradually spreading. This is a previous to that to show the build up to that Thursday, and back to Thursday again. Yeah, the cold air sank down and the low pressure system began to suck in the cold air from the northeast. And interestingly enough, that particular night the temperature wasn't particularly cold, minus 0.6 or 7 I think it was, but as the night wore on, the -5 isotherm chugged through at 850 HPA, and consequently we had a lovely blast of northeasterly winds early on Friday morning, the 1st of February. And on the 2nd, just a very cold day with a northerly wind. And then I popped out on a Saturday morning, got out fairly early. Of course the sun rises quite early, and went to the top of the hill around where I live called Brent Hill, just over 1,000 feet, but with a fantastic view. You can see like 40-50 miles away across the sea, and the other way you can see a good distance as well. And the top of Brent Hill was really blasted by snow. Really, everything was coated. It really was a sugar coated winter wonderland. And normally the snow itself wasn't particularly deep, but it was the fact that it turned from moderate rain or so into this moderate to heavy snow. Of course Brent Hill would have started a good hour or 2 hours before that, as the temperature took a long time to settle down, being 1.5 degrees colder than we are, or 0.7 with a wet adiabatic lapse rate. And you know, it didn't just simply snow, it drifted and it really blew around. And further on along the video you will see that there's some really good drifts that formed. This time of the morning, being quite early, there was some lovely scenery. The sun low in the sky, the snow gets that lovely warmth, that sort of yellowy orange look to it, which is really nice. And as we're going to walking across the top here, you can see just in the distance there and the ruins of a little building right on the top of Brent Hill, 1,017 feet, 311 meters or so. Nobody seems to know what this particular building used to be, but it's got a small chimney in it, what's left of it anyway. And some people think it was a shepherd's hut. Who we just never will know. But the snow line was roughly, I suppose, about 152 meters, 500 feet just under. And you can see just in the distance there where the snow line is there. You can see to the green grass, the green fields below. It didn't really go much below that. We was just on the borderline of snow. Just enough to keep it there. I suppose the depth of snow down we were was no more than 2 inches, but further up, considerably deeper. And here we are at the top of Brent Hill, the trig point there. And you can see right in the distance over a beacon, and across to the moors there you've got 3 barrows, that's about 1,500 feet. And down to the South Hams, right across to Plymouth. And to the western side, the snow had drifted quite nicely, what I call the cuttlefish effect, especially because Brent Hill was very shortly grazed, and it's the snow doesn't really pitch much on the grass, it just blows across until it finds a place to settle. As you can see here, the snow's a couple of feet deep along this hedge in places, particularly scenic. Brent Hill, that there, sort of the edge, there's an old fort that was built goodness knows how many years ago, Stone Age fort, I'm told. Brent Hill's a particularly interesting hill for catching the snow because it's got a very steady up climb from one side, from about 400 feet to 1,000 feet, yet the other side drops down very steep with rocky faces to northwest facing, and right on the top you can get a really good northwesterly gale up there and be so strong the winds up there you can hardly stand up as the winds compress over the top of the ridge. And here we have a few drifts, again nothing special to look at, but considering it had been pouring with rain the day before, suddenly turned to snow. We haven't had this kind of weather since 1982, where it's turned from wet to really, really heavy snow, and the following day to be below freezing first thing in the morning. I do believe the temperature got up fractionally, well, quite a bit above freezing during the day, but it was really, really good, and it was a really good experience to enjoy. And just a few short pictures I put on of the early dawn with the snow. If you've not gathered already, I really do love snow. It's one of those things that I really enjoy, but also weather itself. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It's nothing particularly special, but it's very special to me, particularly in the area that we live here, down in the South Hams. So there we have it.